Soto and Chad were lifelong friends, the kind who shared every adventure in secret. One crisp autumn afternoon, they decided to explore a dense, uncharted section of the forest that bordered their town. The place had an eerie reputation, whispered about in hushed tones, but that only fueled their curiosity. They packed light, just a few snacks, a flashlight, and a map, intending to be back before nightfall. As they ventured deeper, the trees grew taller, and the sounds of the town faded until all they could hear was the crunch of the leaves under their feet. Hours passed, and the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows that stretched like fingers across the forest floor. Soto suggested they head back, but Chad, ever the thrill seeker, insisted they push on just a bit further. They walked a few more minutes before stumbling upon a small clearing bathed in an unnatural glow. "Do you see that?" Soto whispered, pointing at the sky. Above them, a bright pulsating light hovered silently, its colors shifting from blue to green to a brilliant white. They both stared, frozen in awe and fear, as the light grew brighter and began to descend. Without warning, the light engulfed them. Soto felt a strange, tingling sensation throughout his body, as if every cell was vibrating. He turned to look at Chad, but his friend was no longer beside him. In a panic, Soto scanned the clearing and saw Chad suspended in midair, his body slowly rising towards the source of the light. Soto screamed, but his voice was drowned out by a high-pitched hum that filled the air. He reached out, but an invisible force held him back, as if the air itself had become solid. Helpless, he watched as Chad was pulled into the belly of the hovering craft. The light intensified, blinding Soto for a moment. When he blinked, the clearing was dark, and the craft was gone. Chad had vanished without a trace. Soto collapsed to the ground, shaking and disoriented. He called out for his friend, but only silence answered. Trembling, he stumbled back through the forest, retracing their steps the best he could. By the time he reached the edge of the woods, the sun had set completely, and the first stars were twinkling in the sky. Soto never spoke of that day again. No one would have believed him anyway. But every time he passed those woods, he couldn't help but look up, half expecting to see that strange light again. But he knew that wherever Chad was, he wasn't coming back.